Hi there, I'm Michelle Dewberry with you till 7 o'clock tonight, alongside with the former Brexit Party MEP Anuunziata Rees-Mogg and the writer and commentator and believer that actually all problems will be resolved once we rip up the Rwanda plan. Tom Berwick. I can tell you now at home, not many people are agreeing with Tom on that issue. Sorry, Tom. Look, a new poll has revealed that most European countries apparently are pessimistic about the future of their country's growth. There's not a lot of happiness sweeping that continent. Your thoughts on it?
I think this reflects the general malaise of the West, that we are not maintaining our growth and economic ability. And what we really need to do is revitalise our countries and allow them to be free enough to compete with other countries that are overtaking us.
How do we do that?
We need to scrap fake targets such as net zero. It's very good to become greener, but actually we're just imposing huge costs on personal households and businesses. We need to make employment easier. We need to cut the red tape. We have a very good system. We want it to be fair but open, and we've gradually been closing it down, and it's worse across on Europe, which I think is part of the reason so many of them are starting to vote for far-right parties, that this soft left...
What's the far-right party?
In terms of Germany and France, amongst others, actually Spain too, they've all been...
I do find this commentary quite
much further right.
But I do find this commentary
interesting. But it's because the left experiment has failed.
But don't you... I mean, this whole notion of, you know, people are moving towards the so-called far right, I find that phrase just a little bit laughable now, not because I'm trying to laugh at what is actually far right behaviour, but because that terminology is so loosely applied now that I just think it's become meaningless. It
has, but I do think it does have some meaning in the European context. Just look at the recent EU Parliament elections. There's parties like Democracy and Identity, for example, that have got fascist roots and so fascist, in fact, that they're not even allowed in to the centre-right, which is still the biggest bloc within the European Union, the one that Ursula von der Leyen is part of, you know, the European People's Party. That's the sort of centre-right, centrist party in that sense. But, you know, the point of the question is, why is there so much malaise across Europe and indeed in this country? It's because since the financial crash in 2008, people have not seen their living standards improve. And political leaders across Europe and in this country have failed, in my view, on the basics. It's on housing, it's on health, it's on opportunity and education for our young people. And you know, the voters are just fed up. And that's really what's going on.
All of those things are only possible if we have economic growth. That houses take money to build, that training needs teachers, needs investment in buildings and lots of money to improve our NHS. It's a bottomless pit. It seemingly needs endless amounts of money. And the only way that we can generate that is through the private sector being allowed to grow. What we've done instead is to pump money, both here and over in Europe, quantitative easing into the economy that gives us inflation but no actual growth. And what we now need to do is to allow businesses to take up the slack and improve all our living standards by improving the output of the economy.
But that was an idea that was tried in the early 1980s. It's the idea that you can cut your way to growth, that you just cut income taxes. Liz Truss tried that with Kwasi Kwarteng. Look where that got us in terms of the confidence in the international market. It's just not, you know, actually what we've suffered from is governments not being, in my view, activist enough in terms of focusing. So take housing. Actually, it's not just about money, Anuunziata. It's about the planning rules as well. They need to...
Absolutely. I've said cut red tape.
People don't want houses built in their area. We need a national government that's prepared to overrule some of these local decisions. What do you want?
If you've got a bit of green at the end of your road, so you bought your house, it was a quite little cul-de-sac, there's a bit of green space, would you want a massive development of houses to be at the end of your road?
I probably wouldn't if it was blocking my view, but the point is I don't get to make that decision. Even the decision of you know, democratic governments who need to build houses, then, you know, frankly, it doesn't really matter what I think, does it?